poverty level has done nothing but go up.
I really, really appreciate your show and everything that you're doing. May God bless you.
Your personal economy.
You can't say, I don't want any risk. I don't want to take any risk. I just want to put my money in a CD and forget about it. But I want to earn 18% a year. It doesn't work that way.
Conservative talk radio you can count on.
Once again, Steve Forbes. Hey, Steve, how are you?
Dan, good to be with you.
Financial Issues with Dan Celia.
Hi, Dan. I just want you to know how much I really appreciate the passion that you have.
Aligning reality with truth.
And I've got Congresswoman Bachmann with us right now.
So I just want to thank you. I want to thank your listeners.
We need to save America and keep it intact for our children and grandchildren.
Now, here's your host, Dan Celia.
AFR Talk Financial Issues. I'm Dan Celia, 888-589-8840. It is Rapid Fire Friday. I've been kind of rapid fire. I'm doing better. I'm really working on it. So if you want to queue up your call, 888-589-8840, 888-589-8840. All the callers cooperate and give me a question or a comment quick, and then I have to mess things up by saying maybe we should have a yes or no day where I can just say yes. No, I don't think I could do it. Anyway, 888-589-8840, 888-589-8840. If you want to weigh in, all the major indices still in negative territory. The Dow is down off its lows. It is headed back up, but it's still down 16 points right now. Best Buy's reporting that they didn't have such a hot holiday season. As a matter of fact, it was basically flat compared to last year. No real gains. That's not a good sign. Best Buy's been in trouble. JCPenney is not doing well, and that's a shame. But anyway, JCPenney not doing well either. So, it's interesting. It's really interesting to see what is going on in the retail sector in light of where consumer confidence was headed into the greatest time of year for retail sales. I mean, it's amazing. Philadelphia Fed president said just 10 minutes ago, Philadelphia Fed president said there are some risk to inflations in the medium to long run unless monetary policy is tightened more quickly than the Fed anticipated in their last statement. That's not good, Charles. It's not good for your job security there, brother. But anyway, there was the Fed chairman for Richmond, Virginia, from Richmond Fed said pretty much the same thing. So they're saying, the Fed's got to tighten. What tighten means, folks, is to raise interest rates. What tighten means is, look, we can't keep giving away money. We can't keep, free money is not a good thing. Free money is putting more money into the system. Free money is not good for inflationary pressures, and we're going to see inflation. Do you think? Unbelievable. Everybody knows that except for the Fed chairman. But yeah, we're going to see inflation. And here's the thing, and I said this, I hate to keep saying this, but I said this in an article, Reset Button. The fact of the matter is the Fed thinks it has some sort of tools. I'd love to know what they are now, but it has some sort of tools to control inflation. They have no tools. They don't have any tools. As a matter of fact, anytime they say the word tool with an S behind it, as if it is plural in meaning more than one, it's a joke. They've got one tool, and the tool is a crash bar. It's not even a good tool. They have one tool. It's monetary easing. They have no other tools. But anyway, they think somehow they're going to control inflation. Is it going to happen? Because let me tell you, when that horse gets out of the barn, not only aren't you going to be able to round it up, you're not going to be able to even find it. That horse is gone. So, but somehow they think they're going to be able to control inflation. The arrogance of American financial and economic world, the arrogance. It's unbelievable. For somehow we just believe that we can keep doing the same thing and eventually we'll get some sort of different results. Let me go to Linda. Linda calling us from Virginia. Hey, Linda.
Good morning, Dan. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
I'm a little upset right now, I guess you can tell. I had briefly heard, I listen to you every morning on my commute to work. I work up by the Pentagon. And I had briefly heard you say something. I had heard you say a lot of stuff last year about moving your IRAs and 401ks and TSPs and that type of thing to protect them in case the government took them over. Unfortunately, due to my age, I wasn't able to do that, but I was able to advise my parents, my elderly parents, to assist them with that. I've been giving them a lot of your advice, and that's helped them a lot. But my age, I'm not able to do it because I'm under 59 and a half. So I had briefly heard you last week, early in the week on my commute to work, to say that, and I lose your station because another station ends up taking over like partway through my commute, so I don't get to hear your whole program. But I briefly heard a comment about, I thought I heard you say TSA or TSP have been taken over. I did find an article, and I emailed it to you yesterday, to say that the end of December, the government seized all of the TSPG funds to keep the government running.
Well, let me explain, put your mind at ease here, Linda. A couple things. I did talk about the government takeover of 401ks last year. I talked about it in a different light, though. I talked about it in this light. There's no evidence that that is going to happen. And I didn't say at any time for everybody to go out and move their monies out of those kinds of things. I did say that I gotta believe that there's going to be some sort of movement, indication that we're going to see this coming. And there may be a time when I say, get it out like today, do it. But I didn't say that, and I'm not saying it now. What you're referring to about the G Fund, the federal retirement, was not a takeover at all. So you don't have to worry about that. It was basically Timothy Geithner. So you've heard, Linda, me talk about this debt ceiling debate and the debt ceiling needing to be increased. Well, in fact, we reached our debt ceiling limit. We already reached that. In other words, we have reached the legal borrowing limit of the government. We already reached it. So it needed, technically, we had two choices. We had a choice to say, we got to take care of this now by raising the legal limit that we can borrow. Or Timothy Geithner says that because we're in the middle of the battle of the fiscal cliff, that he can buy 2 months of borrowing capacity through other means. One of those means was government pensions. I talked about it when it happened. So Timothy Geithner is basically writing IOUs to those, that's putting it very simplistic, but just to kind of give you an idea, writing IOUs to those pension funds. It's not a confiscation or a takeover. The day the debt ceiling limit, he did this in 2011 as well, when the debt ceiling is approved and we raise the debt ceiling, that will balance and satisfy all of those IOUs. And again, I'm drawing a very simplistic picture of it just to give you an overview. So, having said all that, there's nothing to worry about. There's nothing to panic about. This has not happened. I don't know what you read, or I didn't read the article that you sent me. I didn't see it, but it doesn't matter. And if it says anything different than what I've just described, it is a fear tactic for some reason that someone put out there, probably to sell gold or to sell books or to sell newsletters or to sell something. But the fact of the matter is, nothing has changed in your world there as far as that is concerned. So don't be upset. Don't be concerned. It hasn't changed. I'm not saying it couldn't. I'm not saying it might not. But the fact of the matter, it is. Keep in mind, folks. First of all, I can't imagine this happening. If it happens, it's going to be devastating to most Americans. It's going to be an incredible power grab, and we will see this. We'll be able to rest assured, not in a good way, that the Marxist regime is alive and well in America. If it happens, the theory being that you would receive equivalent income for the rest of your life as a result of them confiscating this money by them offering you some sort of annuity. So it's not like you've saved all this money for life. That doesn't make it right. It's not something the government ought to be considering or even entertaining. But and certainly if I got wind by way of some piece of legislation or talks on Capitol Hill, I would certainly probably tell everybody I think it makes sense to get out. Totally. So you're okay. You didn't miss anything. It hasn't happened. Rule number one, only believe about 3% of what you read on the internet, because most of it is not true, particularly when it has an element of fear to it, because generally what you can do is read the headline that's designed to scare you, go down all the way to the bottom of the article or the ads in and around the article, and you will realize that there is something to sell that if they can scare you enough, that you'll buy. So that's kind of where all that is. Thank you, though, for weighing in on that, Linda. I appreciate it. And I know it's difficult when you're losing the signal, and you're hearing bits and pieces or it's breaking up, and, it's difficult. So sorry about any mishearing there that you had. Anyway, let me go to Roger in Arkansas. Hey, Roger.
Hey, Dan. I work for a company with a 401k plan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm nearly 63.
Mm-hmm.
At 59 and a half, they allow you to take the money out and put it in an IRA, self-directed IRA. And, of course, through the 401k plan, you have very limited options.
Right.
And I'm wondering what your recommendation is.
Are you still contributing?
Yes, I'm still contributing.
Okay.
I'm still working, yeah.
And how many options do you have, like numbers? Do you have 15, 10, 20?
Yeah, something like 15.
Yeah. I tell you what I would probably prefer, since you're still working there, still making contributions, is I like the idea of continuing to keep it there. If you can find an option that is conservative, something that is going to be okay for you, that I'm going to assume that you're facing retirement in the next 5 years.
And I have a pension also.
Okay. So I would keep it, Roger. I would just make sure, because here's the thing. If you keep it and you continue to contribute, you're lowering, and it does start to go down, believe it or not, between now and the next 5 years or so. That could actually be a good thing for you, because you're lowering your average share price. It is going to recover, and you'll have more shares in which it recovers, and you'll recover a lot quicker because your average share price is decreasing as you buy in every pay, and the share price is going down. But having said that, and you're compounding whatever you are earning by way of dividends or interest, you're compounding that on a bigger number, and that's a good thing too. So all I would say to you is, get a good look at all the options that you're being offered. My guess is that they have a short-term bond fund of some sort.
They have several.
They have several. Okay, so make sure that you've got a pretty decent position in a short-term bond fund. Decent being maybe 20-30% of your portfolio. Still maintain maybe 25% or so in a large company, a large cap domestic growth fund. These are large companies. And maintain some position in that, because that is kind of your hedge against inflation. Because, if things really got out of hand, I would hope that within that mutual fund there is, some energy companies, some other kinds of food kinds of companies that may actually increase or go up during inflationary times, and that might give you a little bit of a hedge. And I think everybody should have a little bit this year into the market, a little bit of exposure, again, as long as you have this 5 years or so. So, and then I would probably have some in money market account if they have one. If they offer a money market account, it's earning nothing, but I would definitely want to see you take a preservation of principal headed into retirement with a significant portion, probably another 25 or 30%. I just think that makes good sense. So, I would rather see you reallocate and make sure that you've got a pretty conservative position than move it out.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Roger. I appreciate your call. God bless you. Let me go to John. John calling us from New Mexico.
Hey, how's it going, Dan?
Good, John.
Hey, I just had 2 questions, and then I'm going to get off and listen to your answer.
Okay.
One thing I had seen on the news, I only saw it one time, was they opened this big vault, and they showed all these stacks and stacks of, I don't know if they were bonds or what they were, but the reporter said that it was all Chinese debt that we held from World War II that they have never paid us back for, and that they actually owe us more money than we owe them, with all the interest and everything compounded. And then my other thing, and I just wanted to know if you had seen anything about that or heard anything about that. And then the other thing is now I forgot what I was going to ask you.
I've been there.
But have you heard anything about that? Or?
Well, I know that the theory is that between China, Japan in particular, more so than China, but China, Japan, and Europe, that there's a massive amount of debt that they owe us. But there's also some very old late 1940s, 50s, early 50s legislation that forgave a lot of that debt. Now, we may still have the paper on that debt somewhere tucked away in a vault. I don't know. I don't know anything about that particular report that you're talking about, but nevertheless, a lot of it has been forgiven. But there is debt that is still on the books from a number of countries, not just China, that we are owed. Whether it's more in China's case than the the 1.2 trillion that they that we owe them, I don't know. I really don't know about that. I mean, I don't think it is. I mean, maybe all the total debt that foreign countries that we have on foreign countries, possibly, but I really can't say in definitive terms what that is. Maybe it's something I should make a note to look into. But sorry, I can't give you more definitive information on that. But great question. I appreciate it, John. Thank you. Let me go to John. Is John still on the line? I don't know if you thought of your other question, John. Did you?
Hello?
John, did you think your other question?
Yeah,
okay.
I heard a thing that Obama was thinking about not giving us tax returns anymore and giving us a bond that matures over like 10 years. I don't know if that's true, but I'll get off the line and listen to your answer.
All right, thanks, John.
Thank you, sir.
Sure thing. 888-589-8840. Yeah, there was some talk about a bond being issued. It's a joke. Not going to happen. I don't know if it came out of Obama or some other, area of the government. Not likely to happen. But if it can undermine the government and and create more dependency on the government, it's a possibility.